What's up? Hello and welcome back to Lady T Ministries. I am Therese, Terry, T, whatever you want to call me. Um, Welcome back to Lady T Ministries. Guys, I apologize for the late upload. I literally got to work where I do like majority of my videos, like sitting in my car on my break. And I forgot. It slipped my mind. I was just so tired, so out of it today. Really getting to a point where I'm building my energy back up. But here we are talking about the third and final, not final, because there will be more testimonies to come, but third and final testimony for this series. Okay. And this testimony is actually a testimony in progress as well. So I'm going to jump right into it and I'm going to explain. So, based on the title, it is about my PCOS deliverance. So, basically, last year, literally a year ago, I was diagnosed with PCOS, which some people don't know what it is, but it is called polycystic ovary syndrome. And basically, what happened was my period has always been irregular ever since I was about, I started my cycle when I was 10. My cycle started to become irregular around the age of 14. Ever since the age of 14, going back and forth to the doctors, to OBGYNs, I was always told that, hey, it's because you're overweight. Makes sense. During that time, I was very weight conscious. So I tried my best, but, being low in my self-esteem, there were certain levels and peaks and valleys that I would go through. So, already, just kind of noticing this and knowing this, once I got into my late 20s, I really wanted to take my health very, very seriously. So I started working out. In 1 year, I lost 50 pounds, 51 to 53 pounds. And I was ecstatic because I was on the path to lose more. So I started my weight loss journey actually in the later half of, I think, 2019. And then, it really took off in 2020. So I come to about like October 2020 and I start to notice that I was having some pain when I was working out. So my go-to exercise at the time was HIIT. And I don't know if anybody knows about Chloe Ting, but honey, Chloe Ting was getting your girl right as far as losing like fat loss, right? So I was doing her programs and doing them faithfully. And so I started having this pelvic pain, specifically like on the right side. And when I tell you, it was like somebody was in my ovaries with some vice grips, just twisting and just like, and then it would release. And I'm like, what is this pain? But I persisted, didn't know exactly what was going on, kind of contributed it to the other thing that I'm experiencing, and believing God for full recovery and healing, which is IBS. Didn't really pay attention to it. It was, it would come and go. I thought I was exercising too much. I was already having like hip problems on my right side. Already had like 2 steroid shots for that too. It was just a mess. And I thought it was, maybe one of those things, but it wasn't serious. So then it comes in December. At this point in my weight loss journey and my health journey, my period was regular. It had returned from being irregular all these years. And when I say irregular, I was getting periods every 3 to 6 months. There were some periods in my life where I would skip the whole summer and not have a period But come fall and winter and spring, I would have a period every month. There was times where a lot of my cycles would end up being extra like long, so like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, heavy blood. Um, so much. But I just never really thought anything was wrong. I thought it was more me being irregular because I was overweight. So once I started to lose weight, my period became very regular. But come December 2020, like I said, I had my period. And around this time, I also came down, I think, with a cold and the stomach flu. So I was hit kind of hard. And being hit with all of those things, right? I was like, it's going to take a while for my body to recover. And so I waited, waited for my body to recover and everything. And then after the stomach flu, I started to have this bloody like discharge. And I was like, what's going on? This is not my norm. I never bleed in between periods. And this is after the fact that I had a full 7 day rough and tough period. And I was like, this is not normal. So I'm panicking. The spotting and the bleeding and the bloody discharge went on for 4 days. At this point, I'm panicking. I'm looking things up. I'm thinking the worst of the worst. And I finally made an appointment with my OBGYN. So I went into my OBGYN appointment, explained to her exactly what was going on, what was happening. She ran blood tests, she did ultrasound, and I forgot something else that she did as well. Came back, the results literally came back in January, and they were like, hey, just want to let you know you are experiencing PCOS. And I'm like, what? Really? And I always heard about PCOS, did my own research on PCOS, but I was like, there's no way that I have it. And so that is when they told me during the ultrasound, well, first with the blood test, my testosterone levels were sky high. And then secondly, with my ultrasound that they did, they found 3 1 centimeter cysts on my right ovary and 3 to 4 1 centimeter cysts on my left ovary. And when I tell you I was upset, I was upset. And I wasn't devastated at the fact of thinking about infertility or anything like that. I was devastated at the fact that I even had this. And I was just like, it doesn't make sense to me. Like I was working out. I was eating relatively healthy 85 to 95% of the time. I had been successful in God helped me to reverse my anemia because I was very anemic. Like I was taking iron pills every single day from the age of 19 up till the age of 29, every single day. If I missed 2 or more days, I would be so tired and so cold. And so I was like, my body has healed itself, right? Well, not healed itself, but it was going in the right direction that God had called it to be. And so I was just like, you gotta be kidding me. I put in all this hard work. Now you're delivering news to me that I've been diagnosed with PCOS. So basically, y'all, I cried my tears. I cried. My tears just flowed. But this is where the miracle really came in. So the pain that I was sensing in October of 2020 were the cysts that were developing. And what happened was um, I was bent over, like in so much pain all the time. At this point, after January, it didn't matter what I did, whether I exercised, whether I walked, whether I sat down, whether I sneezed, whether I coughed, whether I laid down. It didn't matter what I did. My pelvic was on 100 all the time. And I was like, I don't know what to do. Like my whole world of like health that I knew was, it was flipped. It was flipped. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to begin. And so I prayed and I asked God, I was like, God, I need your help and I need your direction on how to get out of this, how to be reversed from this. So God had led me to do multiple, multiple research on the proper supplements that will help with PCOS. And so he led me to what is it? Vitamin B8, which is, and I know I'm going to pronounce this wrong, y'all. I always do, and I always forget how to properly pronounce it. Excuse me, I'm sleepy. It's Myo and Sodatol, but I'm probably saying it so wrong. I know I'm saying it wrong. And I did my research and I saw how that really helped with minimizing the cysts. Now, my cysts were already small enough, and they were small enough to the point where it wasn't any type of recommendation on my doctor's part that I be on birth control, but they were small enough that, it's relatively okay, but I don't need any type of surgery. I don't need any type of birth control. I don't need any type of synthetic medication to help. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. And so I kept researching it, still a little bit hesitant. And then God gave me the peace about taking this supplement. And so I went on Amazon, and I'll put the link below if you're curious about which exact supplement I use. Went to Amazon, bought it, started taking it, I would say late January, early February. They told me in January, after they diagnosed me with PCOS, that they wanted a follow-up ultrasound in April. And I was like, okay, great. So maybe after like a couple weeks of taking the supplement, the pain reduced significantly to the point where I didn't have any pain. And I was like, great. But I wasn't thinking that anything really changed. I was like, the cysts are probably still there, but just no pain, thank God. When I tell y'all in April, I went to the doctor and they did the ultrasound and they were like, your cysts are gone. I was like, what? Like, I was excited, but I also already knew, because even before I went to my appointment, God had told me, he was like, you don't have no cysts no more. Your cysts are gone. And when they told me, like, I cried, I worshiped when I got in the car. Like, I was like, thank you, Jesus. My parents, they had prayed and they spoke it over me too. In the authority of the name of Jesus, that there were no more cysts. And I came home and there were no more cysts, right? And at this point, my periods are regular. The only issue really at this point that I had was like excess facial hair. Sorry, y'all. My words are just coming out real funky right now. But excess facial hair on my chin, underneath my neck. And I was having like hot flashes, like really extreme hot flashes at night. And when I tell you hot flashes, like they were bad. They call them night sweats. And when I tell you it was not no night sweat, it was like I was taking a dip in a pool. I was drenched from my scalp, literally sweat dripping from my scalp all the way down to the back of my knees. And I would just have on like a sheet and a blanket, and not no heavy blanket, a thin blanket, still sweating like bullets, right? So, um, but anyway, I was just like overwhelmed. And I was like, okay, I want to focus on getting rid of these hot flashes and the other symptoms that come with PCOS. So, I started experimenting and researching, and God had led me to take magnesium, to take zinc, vitamin C, omega 3s I had already been taking, but that helped a lot anyway with the inflammation that comes with PCOS. What else? Vitamin D, and a couple other things to incorporate. So then, this is my mistake, y'all. My mistake. In June, um, I decided that I wanted to go on birth control to have my period a little bit regulated. Now, understand, my period was already regulated. However, it was not coming like it was like regular. So it was every maybe 37 to 40 days my period was coming. I personally wanted my period to come every 28 to 35 days. So I was just like, okay, cool. Let me get on birth control. So I got on birth control. The lowest dosage, and I had been on birth control years and years ago. Did not work out for me. I don't know why I thought the lower dosage would work out for me, but it did not. I ended up having crazy symptoms. I was on Lolestrin Faye, if anybody is interested. And I had crazy symptoms. Like, my periods were regular at first for the first 3 months, and then after that third month, it was like bleeding for 21 days. I had twitching on my whole left side, crazy mood swings, crazy anxiety, dreams, everything. So, talked with my doctor, got off of those. They recommended Janelle Faye, Janelle Faye. Sorry, y'all. And heard and read terrible reviews about that. Decided to try it anyway. Within the first 3 to 4 days of taking it, had terrible anxiety. Terrible anxiety. Yeah. So after that, I was also suffering with another condition called HS, which would flare up every time my hormones would be on 100. So it was, what did I do? It was, I took spirulactone, I think, in October of 2021. So all of, the Janelle Faye, the Lolestrin, all of that happening within 2021, right? And then I took spirulactone for my condition HS hidradenitis suppurativa. I think I'm saying it right, but I could be saying it wrong. Took that for flare-ups, but the spirulactone also helped with PCOS, the medication. And so then after that, I had crazy anxiety. I actually had I feel like disassociation and crazy insomnia, crazy anxiety. Like, it was bad. So after 3 weeks, I was off of that. And that was November 12th. I remember the exact date because it was a crazy week that week. Everything that I was experiencing. And after that, I was like, yeah, no more listening to Not saying that I don't trust my doctors. I love them. They have worked super duper hard. But not every drug is for me. Even though it has worked for the population, my body is entirely way too sensitive. No more drugs that are going to mess with my hormonal balance. And I remembered how God just had me on the track of doing natural. And even though I didn't recognize it then, I recognize it now that He wanted me to be more on the natural homeopathic treatments for PCOS other than just the regular, birth control. And I'm not dissing birth control for people that are on it. If it works for you, great. Perfect, fantastic. I'm glad that it works for you. My body just doesn't like it. It does not respond well to it at all. And so, after that, my periods were irregular again. And now I'm in a position where my periods are irregular again. But everything is starting to balance out. I'm just trying to figure out exactly what's going on with my hormones. But in all of this, and in all of this testimony, y'all, I don't have no more hot flashes. No more. No more hot flashes. No more sweating down all the way down to the back of my knees. The only time it happens is when I have too many blankets on my bed. And listen, I love me some blankets. Like, I will have literally 3 to 4 blankets on my bed. And I'm not talking about like full length blankets. Like, I have my comforter and then I have like fleece blankets on top of me. Like, I love blankets. That's the only time I sweat like that. Or when I'm, like about to have a cold or something. But other than that, everything's been peaceful. So I'm like, God, what? And even my condition that would flare up, HS, I haven't had a flare up since November. And that is so rare for me. Like, I used to have flare ups every single month. And I know y'all might be saying, Terry, it's all the hormonal medications and your hormones are imbalanced. I don't care what y'all say. It's God. It's the Lord. It is the Lord. Because there's no way that they just going to disappear like that. And yes, is there still a hormonal imbalance because my period is still off? Absolutely. But you know what? I am no longer putting myself in a position where I'm going to worry about it. God got it. And the reason why I know God has got it is because He, has promised me that one day I am going to conceive children, that I will carry children in my womb. So there is nothing in me that says, oh God, I'm missing my period and da 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 da. I used to do that. I used to be freaking out over my period missing and being gone and all that stuff. Not now. There's no use, because I stand on the firm promises of God. And if God says that I'm going to conceive children, guess what? I'm going to have a period. I'm going to have to ovulate and then have a period. I have to ovulate and have a period. I got to be ovulating in order to have a period. And on top of that, let me tell y'all, my womb has been attacked. I think it's been twice. Yeah, twice last month, because I started having pelvic pain really bad on my right side. Again, so I went back to my doctor. I was like, hey, can we do an ultrasound check to see if there's any cysts? She checked, my OBGYN checked. She was like, you don't have any. Literally 2 weeks later, same pain persisted after my period. And it was just like, What's going on here? What's happening here? The pain was so bad that it made me think that I had a UTI. And I took the test. It took the urinary tract at home test. It said that I was positive for it. Went to the urgent care. Went to the urgent care, y'all. They tested me for it. They said it was negative. They said, "Oh, we think that you might have appendicitis." Sent me to the ER, and they said, "Oh, we think that it's something to do with your ovaries." They did an ultrasound, didn't find anything. Pain subsided on its own. Well, I shouldn't say on its own, by God, through prayer. And now I'm just in a position of where I'm just waiting for my period to come. It's February. It's going to come when it's supposed to come. And I'm still keeping it in prayer, no doubt about it. But that's it. And so I wish I could turn my camera around without it looking so like messy on this side. But literally on this wall, I have my vision board for the year. And God told me that this is the year to move, right? And on a part of my vision board, God had me write down that He was going to help me to reverse PCOS. Yes, through His power, but however, it's going to take some work on my part too, of consistently eating healthy, drinking enough water, taking my medications, because currently I'm on high blood pressure medication, but I'm also believing God to take me off of that soon as well, and exercising regularly. That's where it's going to come in. And once I do that consistently, I know God will even reverse it before then. I believe that God has reversed it now. And so now, y'all, I'm in a kind of I wouldn't say waiting game, but I am in a place of waiting, in a season of waiting, where I'm waiting for my care team to, like I have a dietitian, I have my OBGYN, I have my PCP, I have my cardiologist, all of these people to give me the go ahead to check my hormones again. And y'all, I firmly believe that there is a day that's coming when I'm going to be on here and be like, my hormones are back in order. They're back in order like they're supposed to be. They're back in alignment like they're supposed to be. So it is a testimony in progress, but there's so many bits and pieces of that testimony that has already came to pass and has happened, and I have received my full healing. So thank you for staying with me for 28 minutes. I love y'all. I don't mean to keep y'all this long, but y'all, I can talk. I can talk. But I pray that this testimony in progress is going to be a blessing to you, but also encourages you about y'all's testimony in progress, because everybody has multiple testimonies in progress. We just got to be patient, and then also wait on God and trust God and be obedient to what He calls us to do. So, anyway, y'all, I'm extremely sleepy. I want to wind down, go ahead and get my rest. That's another part of this PCOS journey, making sure I'm on a sleep schedule, proper sleep schedule, so I can get up in the morning and eat and do all those things. So, anyway, I love you guys. And I will be back next Saturday and bringing whatever God tells me to bring. If it's another testimony, it'll be another testimony. If it's a word, it's a word. Whatever it is, I'm going to be back. I'll see y'all next Saturday. Love y'all. Good night.